Hope you're all doing good. We all love traveling and exploring the unseen. Traveling is indeed a very different experience. It is not limited to enjoying the scenic beauty and devouring or eating the food items, but it takes us to the ritual and legend practiced on that particular land. The sacred turtles of Kadavu is one such great travel experience. This is the third chapter of the third block, Beyond the Horizons. This travel experience acquaints us with a strange ritual practiced on Fijian island. It also takes us to the Fijian island, rich in its beauty. Let's describe the island first. Describe Kadavu. Kadavu is an island which is a part of the Republic of the Fiji Islands. There's a village named Nemuana, which is 50 miles away from Kadavu, situated near to the government station in Unit3 harbour. Those days, the warriors of Kadavu saved themselves from a long journey by sliding a canoe on rollers up over the narrow neck of land. If you land on the beach and climb the cliffs, you will have a splendid view and will also find all the maidens of the village assembled there. We learn about a strange ritual practiced on this island. The ritual is connected to a story from the village in Kadavu named Nemuana. Standing on the hills behind the village, one can enjoy the beautiful bay. You can also find the maidens. Maidens means unmarried young women gathered together on the beach, performing a strange ritual and singing a chant. What is that ritual practiced in Kadavu? This is one question which you can expect for the exams. Long ago, in the lovely village of Nemuana, an island of Fiji, lived a beautiful princess, Boga. She was the wife of the chief. They had a daughter, Rhodalis. The two women often went fishing. One day, they were so engrossed in fishing that they didn't notice the stealthy approach of the fishermen from the village of Nebukelevu. Suddenly, the fishermen jumped from the canoe and caught the two women. They cried aloud to let them free, but the fishermen were too cruel to listen. The gods were not pleased with their cruelty, and a huge storm was sent which tossed the canoe. Later, they noticed that the two women were turned into two giant turtles, and then the sea became calm. The Fijians still believe that Boga and Rhodalis live in the waters of that bay. The song is so magical that as they chant, the giant turtles rise one by one to lie on the surface. Listening to the music, they believed that it was the descendants of Boga and Rhodalis that rise from the water while they sang the song from the cliff. Another sideline to this performance was that if any member of the nearby village of Nebukelevu was present, then the turtles wouldn't rise and hence the turtle calling had to be abandoned. Now that we are familiar with the ritual, let me ask you a few questions. Why do you think the turtles don't rise or appear when a member of the Nebukelevu village is present there? Yes, of course. It is the fishermen of Nebukelevu village who kidnapped these women. What does the change in the weather signify? Yes, the change in the weather signifies that the gods had heard the cry and prayers of these women and saved them from this cruel fishermen. Usually, we mourn at the death of someone. Here we find the maidens dressed in mourning. Did anyone die here? No, not in the literal sense. The women who were changed into turtles were as good as dead. And the chant indicates a desire to take a look on them and the descendants. Who do you think were actually punished? Yes, on one hand we feel that the women were punished because they couldn't talk and walk with their near and dear ones. On the other hand, the fishermen were frightened by the storm and the women were saved forever. We can say that they were almost immortal. They live even today. It is up to your logic to decide. All rituals are strange because in all rituals, impossible things are described as part of the belief system which has been passed from generation after generation. Anyway, you might have noticed that the opening sentence of the legend is in keeping with the conventional method of telling or beginning an old story.
Now discuss and prepare a write-up on a ritual popular in your locality. Once upon a time, Kerala was ruled by a king named Mahabali. He was known for his magnanimity and for being just. His rule was ideal with no complaint, no exploitation and no cheating. All were treated equally. Happiness and prosperity prevailed throughout the state. But some of the gods became jealous and wanted to overthrow him. Vamanan, one of the gods, disguised himself as an ascetic and begged for the 3 feet of land. Mahabali, being very kind and generous, permitted to measure the land he had asked. To his amazement, Vamanan began to grow in size and become as tall as the sky. His 2 feet measured the whole land, and he wanted to know where he would place his third step. The good king bent his head and asked to measure it on his head. The cruel Vamanan placed his foot on Mahabali's head and pushed him underground. Mahabali pleaded to let him visit Kerala once in a year, and his wish was granted. We believe Onam is the day on which Mahabali visits Kerala. We arrange floral carpets and prepare sumptuous meal to welcome him. In fact, boat races, tiger dances and such other entertainments are arranged to celebrate this day.
Now, let's learn how to prepare a brochure. What is a brochure? A brochure is a thin booklet giving you a piece of information. If it's a travel brochure, it gives you information regarding a travel. Usually, we find a long paper folded into pages. But for the examination, we cannot fold a paper. Instead, we divide the pages into different parts. Each part is a page. 3 or 4 parts is more than enough. And most often in a brochure you can find photographs and testimonials attached. This also cannot be done for the examination. So in keeping with the examination, here are few tips how to develop a brochure.
Travel brochure. Tips for a travel brochure. Write the name of the place on the top of the page. To highlight, use capital letters. Also come up with slogans that suits the place. Begin or open with a catchy sentence which is followed by short, concise sentences. Satisfy the interest of the target audience by including descriptive introductions to the place. Your brochure should appeal to the 5 senses. Add your own creative touch for this. Also, highlight the main features by describing the scenic beauty, the scope for adventures, reference to the local culture, customs and traditions. Just notice how the brochure is written for the examination. A page is divided into 4 parts. Each part represents a page. We have started with the place we are going to visit or we would love to visit, and information. This brochure gives information about the Paris. So after reading this brochure, you must feel the need to go to Paris. That's why the title itself is given as Go Paris. Immediately after the title, you can find a slogan that goes with the topic, the City of Lights. Then a small introduction. Inspiring, beautiful, charming and breathtaking. Welcome. Paris is the capital and largest city of France. It is the most populated city in Europe. Let's find your piece of paradise. Now, look at the second page. Just a subtitle. Why travel to Paris? Paris is the most visited city in the world and deserves the attention because it's stunning, stylish and sensual, with a dramatic past and funky present. It's a sedative place of fashion and culture. Come, taste the experience. And the third page also starts with a new subtitle, Activities to do in Paris. And the places to visit and certain information regarding the places are highlighted. And we have also given a conclusion for this brochure.
So from the travel brochure, let's move on to a travel info. A travel info also is a piece of information which gives information regarding the destination.
Travel info. Travel info may include appropriate visiting time, how to get there, where to dine, important tourist spots, the cuisine, cultural highlights, etc. So we are learning how to write an travel info. We are going to write a travel info. Just see how the name of the place where we are going to visit and the discourse that we are going to write are written on the two separate corners, on the top corners of the page. This also includes information like how to get there, what are the places that we shouldn't miss out, the cuisine, and all the important details that we require. Just notice how the subtopics are also highlighted. For example, getting there. Kerala can be accessed by air. The state has 4 major international airports, one in the southern part, Thiruvananthapuram International Airport, one in central Kerala, the Cochin International Airport, and the other 2 in northern part, Karipur in Calicut and Kannur International Airports respectively. The second subtopic is the places that we shouldn't miss. So, don't miss out. Munnar, mountain town surrounded by tea estates. Kochi, historic port with diverse architecture. Thiruvananthapuram, fine arts and beaches. Alappuzha, backwater cruises and beach. Kozhikode, beach, historical temples, art and shopping. Kovalam, beach, seaside resorts. Thrissur, elephants, temples, zoos and churches. And in Kumaragam you can find boat houses, lakes and wildlife. The next side heading is cuisine. The cuisine. Kerala cuisine offers a multitude of both vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes prepared using fish, poultry and red meat, with rice a typical accompaniment.
You might have noted the difference between a travel brochure and a travel info. Usually a travel info comes for 3 to 4 marks for the examination, and the travel brochure may carry 6 to 8 marks. Hence your travel info needs to be short. I think we have covered almost all the area of importance. I think this is enough. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You've always just read me like a book.